Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 BMW 330i. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This 330 is finished off in Brooklyn Gray Metallic. MSRP is just over $58,000. Now this is powered by the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to the mild hybrid system along with the 8-speed automatic, and pumps out 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,700-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. With the M Drivers package, which this model has, top speed is increased to 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons, and you'll expect to see 26 miles per gallon in the city and 29 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 185.7. It has a width of 71.9, a height of 57, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.4 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this model has a really nice color combo with that Brooklyn gray and all of the gloss black accents. You'll notice for the kidney grille, this model has a forward-facing camera, and there's also active grille shutters behind these inlets. So that way it can provide more cooling to the engine when needed. And off the grille very nicely is the dark housing for all of the LEDs. And then in the lower section, there's a sensor for distance pacing, all of the parking sensors, and a lot more inlets to provide better airflow. And then there's a few lines that come down the hood to give it a nice sleek design. Now this model also has a set of gloss black wheels, and then you'll notice there's more gloss black for the power folding side mirrors, which also feature a camera and a turn signal. It's on all of the window trim. And then this model also has a sunroof up top. Very nice lines, especially the one in the lower section of that door and the side skirt to give it a great sporty look. And then in back, there's a small trunk mounted spoiler, LEDs for all of the lighting, the backup camera, parking sensors, and then gloss black for the lower bumper, along with this having a dual exhaust system. Now this does have a remote start, so you can just triple tap on the lock button, and you can start it up and shut it off as needed, which is a nice feature. And then of course you can use the button on the key fob or the control underneath to gain access to the cargo space, where this does have a power trunk. Now in back, you do get a storage bin located on both sides. There's no storage underneath the floor, but you do have the ability to fold down the back seats, and you have some tie down hooks so you can safely secure in items. And then two buttons up top, one to just close the trunk and the other will lock the vehicle too. Now if you do lock the vehicle, just grab any door handle and you can use them to both lock and unlock it. Now for the interior, this has a really nice design. There's Harman Kardon for the audio, interior lighting, brushed aluminum accents as well, and then the solid black leather seats. And then at 5'10", I have a good bit of space in back. There's no storage pockets behind both front seats, however, which would be nice to see. You have vents in the middle, temperature adjustments, and two auxiliaries. And then at my height, maybe a ½ inch or so of headroom, but it's pretty spacious for this smaller sedan from BMW. So I could ride around and be nice and comfortable. Now right in the middle, you do have an armrest along with cup holders that will pop out. And you can also fold down this middle seat individually if you need a little bit more access. And then you do have some small pillars in the back here, so it's pretty easy to see around. Now up front, there's memory seating adjustments, window controls, side mirror adjustments, trunk release, more storage down below, and then a very nice set of seats up front that are automatic. Now there's one manual support for your legs there that you can adjust as needed. And then as we hop in, we're greeted with a solid black leather steering wheel with a flat bottom design and lots of brushed accents. But let's start this up now. Take a listen to that 4-cylinder turbo. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll see on the left side there's miles per hour, right side there's tach. In the lower section, all of that info is going to be fixed. And then you can also go through some more info using this middle button right here. There's also volume tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, and some ambient lighting strips at the top. But to go through all this content, you can pull up a lot of daily driving information, just depending on what you need to see for the day. You can also change the layout too. So you have a few different settings there depending on how you want to see this information. And then the last one is for the head-up display, where you can go through a few there as well, from sport views to directional and just a standard or reduced view. Now there's paddle shifters on both sides and then all the cruise control settings on the left. Now to the left, you do get your headlight adjustments. There's also one air vent there. And then with the rest of the infotainment system, everything in the lower section is fixed. So you can quickly get through all of this. And there's also shortcuts down below to further go through this information. This model has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have several icons here to get into, just depending on what you would like to see. For the home screen, you have a split view. So you can go through info on this left side and have the nav on the right. And then there's also shortcuts into climates, navigation, and music. And then this comes with heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and temperature adjustments. Really cool trim accent underneath that. There's also ambient lighting tucked away nicely above two air vents. There's volume tuning and some defrosters, and then this also has wireless charging, cup holders, and auxiliaries. And then with the shortcuts down below, you can further go through this information like I mentioned earlier, which is nice to have. And then with the shifter, just simply push it in the forwards direction. That will bring up your backup camera for reverse, where there's also automatic parking and backup assistance. And then this model has the 3D view, including the forward-facing camera angle, so that way you can better see in front. There's also drive in sport mode, so that allows you to use the paddle shifters, and then park's located behind that. Now there's traction control, parking sensors, engine start stop, and then 3 different driving modes depending on the throttle response and feedback that you would like. There's also auto hold and the e-brake. You get an auxiliary with storage in the armrest, a locking glove box with plenty of space, and then garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and controls for both the sunroof and sunshade. And then a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Pretty easy to see over the right side, and then you can even see out of both those windows over the left. As we sat up behind the wheel for the 330, this is definitely a great option, more like an entry level into the sedan lineup from BMW. Now you could go with the 228, which is going to be a little bit smaller than this. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a practical sedan, this is a good option to go with. And you can also get rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. This is the first xDrive 330 that I've been able to take a look at. So depending on where you live and the traction that you would like, you have 2 different options to go with. And of course, a lot of ways that you can spec these depending on your budget and what you would like. So I currently have it in sport mode. We can put it into second gear here. And with a minor acceleration, it can get up and move. The paddles are very responsive as well. This is not intended to be a performance-oriented sedan. If you would like more performance, you can go with the M340 or even the M3, which we have a lot of content surrounding the entire 3 Series from BMW. So if you're just looking for that sporty look, you do get some sporty characteristics. This is a good option to go with. And then of course you can tone it down, put it into comfort or eco mode, which is just going to modulate the throttle response. So you get a little bit more in sport mode. It jumps the RPMs up slightly, just depending on how you would like to drive. But if you're also looking for a sedan that is going to be a great daily driver, this is a good option to go with, especially with the MPG that you can get. And if you're doing some back roads, you know, some light performance driving, this handles well too. So while it doesn't have upgraded suspension, upgraded brakes like some of the other models, I mean, it's still going to be a great option for the occasional spirited driving or something like that. But it's a great vehicle, very comfortable. Seats are in a great spot too. You have good visibility all around and just a nice practical smaller size sedan. It's easy to park, very easy to maneuver too, and it's going to give you those refined luxury feelings from a BMW. And with it still in sport mode, another acceleration. It's not all that loud either, but definitely a good bit of get up and go to it for the performance that this does have to offer. And we're still in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And just a minor acceleration, and we can get up to speed there. And again, the paddles are very responsive. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the 330. Looks nearly identical to a lot of the other BMW models with the latest lineup with all the tech features and just how everything looks. It's a nice place to be. And like I mentioned earlier, if you do want more performance or more power, you do have 2 other 3 Series options to go with. But this is perfect for just an average daily commuter. You get the refinements, the luxury feelings, but you know, from point A to point B, you're definitely going to get a very nice ride and a luxury feeling for the price point too. So in today's market, where a lot of vehicles are getting super expensive, this is in the $50,000 range, which is right around the average price of a brand new vehicle today. And for what you are getting, I mean, you can get into a luxury brand like this over some of the other competitors, which would start to creep up to the high 40s, maybe just break 50 grand for not much more, depending on how you spec it, of course. You can get into a BMW like this. So really good option to go with, very sound too. So not loud by any means. And you have a lot of tech at your fingertips here. So definitely a great option to go with. And that is going to wrap it up for the 330i xDrive. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.